Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So I had a mini break last week. I was feeling a little under the weather and not at all film worthy. So we took a little break last week, but we're back with a new video for ya, or at least I'm back. I don't know who I'm saying we. I'm back with a new video for ya. In this week's video, I thought I'd share a little bit more about our life here in London, specifically how it pertains to our living space. There are a lot of quirks here in the UK in terms of living that, as Americans, obviously, took some getting used to. And it's always so interesting when we have family and friends come and visit, and they're kind of like, oh, what's this? They're kind of in awe and kind of like weirded out by some of the things that we now find totally normal. So I thought I'd share some of those quirks with you guys today. These are specific to London, but I have seen a lot of these in places that we've stayed in Europe as well. So if you're thinking about coming to visit London, staying in an Airbnb, or maybe even planning a move abroad, these are definitely some things that you're gonna notice and will have to get accustomed to, especially if you're planning on moving here. And as a bonus, you'll also get a mini house tour of our current flat. So let's get into it. So the first thing that gets people every single time, no matter what, actually has to do with the bathroom. This is actually like a 2-in-1. So first, for the bathroom, for the light switch, it's not your typical flick switch. It's usually a pull string that's usually hanging from the ceiling, usually behind the door, that you have to pull to turn the light on and off. And the second thing is that there are no plugs in the bathroom. These are like the two things that always throw people off when it comes to the bathroom: the pool light and that there's no plug. Why is this? Well, when I first got here, the rumor that I heard was that all Brits are terribly frightened of being electrocuted. So they make it so there's no chance of that, no plugs in the bathroom, no like actual light switches to keep away from getting electrocuted. Doing some research, there is a little bit of truth to that, in that it's basically just a health and safety regulation. Here in the UK, they use 240 voltage, while in the US and Canada, we use 120. Obviously, there's a higher risk of getting harm. So to eliminate that, they put a regulation for all buildings that no plugs can be within a certain distance of any water source. And since UK bathrooms tend to be really small, there's usually no plugs in there. And the same is true for the light switches. Again, they're just trying to reduce the risk of any sort of shock or anything like that. So you usually have a pull string lever, so you're not putting like a wet finger on a light switch. That if a place does have that, it's usually on the outside of the bathroom door. But if it's on the inside, it's usually a pull string thing from the ceiling. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing this. So the next quirk is in the bedroom, where in America, closet space can be a huge selling point. But here, they don't really have closets. They use wardrobes, the whole Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe story. They can be built in or standalone, but you very, very rarely find an actual traditional closet room. I can't exactly say why this is. I kind of assume that it has to do with space. A lot of the traditional housing here is known as terrace housing, and it's very similar to row housing back in the States, that you find in big cities like New York, Philly, or Boston, where you're basically sharing two walls with neighbors and you're just stacked down the street one by one. So I think because everything's so compact, there just wasn't thought to build space for a closet. It's easier to bring in just a wardrobe. I'm thinking that's why. I don't know. I haven't really done the research to see. But yeah, that's something that you would definitely notice in bedrooms. There's never a door for a closet. It's always just a big wardrobe. The next quirk is definitely an aspect of city living, and that is having half-size refrigerators. In America, the bigger the refrigerator, the better. And so this is something that we definitely had to get accustomed to, but I think it ended up being for the better. Back in Chicago, we had a big refrigerator, and things would just get lost in the back there. We would have like 3 different, I don't know, salsas, all like partially eaten, and you just never really knew what was in the back of the fridge. But here, having the half-size refrigerator, we're definitely more conscious about what we're buying because we have limited space for it, and I think it also helps us reduce the amount of waste that we accumulate. So yeah, I think it's definitely been for the better, but as our family has grown, I definitely am like, we could use a bigger fridge. So staying in the kitchen, this next quirk is something that I've actually found to really like and would consider having in my forever home. It is hiding away all the kitchen appliances. I know in the States and houses, they like to put their appliances on show, like the shinier, bigger, the better. But here, they like having everything hidden away. Our place right now doesn't do that to the full extent. Just our dishwasher is hidden away. But in places that we've lived before, we've had both the dishwasher, the fridge. Typically, the washer and dryer is also found in the kitchen, and that's hidden away. And everything just has a very like sleek and clean look to it. I've come to really like this. It could show up in our forever home, wherever that may be. So the next quirk is actually pretty dominant throughout Europe, and that is having no window screens. So when you open your windows, you are exposed to all the elements of outside. Yeah, it's not really that big of a deal, but we also have cats. Oh, that's not gonna work out well. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be recording much more than that. Right. And we're in a new location because City Living, they decided to do some crazy street construction right outside our window. So hopefully there's not too much background noise now that we're here. But we'll see. Gotta love City Living. But moving on. So when you open up a window, that means all the elements of outside, from like pollen and dust to flies and bees to the occasional pigeon and field mouse, can come right on. It's not that big of a deal. London and Europe in general isn't that buggy in that like there's not mosquitoes, or I mean, yes, there's like flies every now and then, but not like crazy amount. And we also have cats, so if anything does come in through the window, it typically doesn't stay that long. Another thing you'll notice, especially in traditional London flats, is that a lot of the space is broken up into separate rooms. I know in the US, we tend to prefer a more open living space, so the kitchen, dining, and living room are all in one open space. But here it's a lot more compartmentalized. You have a room for your living space, you have a room for your dining space, you have a room for your kitchen, and all these will have 4 walls and a door. This is usually found in more traditional style flats. If you get something a little bit more modern, they're usually a lot more open and kind of free-flowing. For me, I personally found that kind of style very claustrophobic and like broken. So we tend to opt for and have lucked out to get places that do have more of an open style space. Here, it's more kind of lofted. The kitchen is lofted up and the living spaces below. We've lucked out in finding places that work for us. But yeah, that's definitely something that you'll see a lot of, especially if you're looking to do like a traditional London flat. They're definitely very small and broken up. So the last quirk is something that we haven't had personally in any spaces that we've lived in, but I have like seen it and experienced it, and that is having a separate hot water faucet and separate cold water faucet. The reason for this was like way back in the day when clean water control wasn't really a thing. The hot water source tend to attract things like rats, especially living in the city, so it wasn't the safest thing to drink out of. I don't know why you would want to shower in it either, but whatever. They would keep the faucets separate so you could drink from the cold one, but the hot one was usually left to just cleaning things, though again, I don't really see out why you would want to use that still to clean, but whatever. So a lot of like really traditional flats have the separate hot and cold faucet, and you'll also find it in old pubs or museums or anything like that. So with it, the hot water is hot water and the cold water is cold water. A lot of times you'll see people going back and forth like this, trying to just get warm water. The trick that I was told was you fill your hand with some of the cold water, then go over to the hot water, and it usually mellows out. I don't know, but anyways, that's definitely something if you do go opt for like a really traditional style flat or home, they probably still have that in there just as a little design quirk. Also in a lot of like old time pubs, they tend to still have those in the bathrooms as well. And that's it, guys. Those are some of the quirks that you'll tend to find in flats here in the UK. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any that surprised you or any other kind of quirks that you've heard about, definitely let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. If you like this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't yet already, go ahead and subscribe. I'm starting to post twice a week, usually Wednesday and Sunday, and I share videos similar to this where I'm talking about life here abroad. I share my mom life with Mason and just other interests in terms of like style and personal wellness. And yeah, I would love to have you as a viewer and wouldn't want you to miss out on any of my new videos. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye!